Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of the Daily Debate. My name is Ahmed Nader, and tonight we will be focusing and shedding more light on the visit of the Singaporean President Tharman Shanmugaratnam to Egypt and his meeting with His Excellency President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi that took place yesterday, and we will be shedding more light on the press conference that took place after their meeting, the economic and the political relations that will be strengthened over the upcoming year, and more specifically in 2026, as Egypt and Singapore will be celebrating 60 years of diplomatic relations between both countries. And we will be shedding more light on the economic cooperation between Egypt and Singapore, and the Egyptian rejection of the Israeli displacement of the Palestinians from Palestine to the other neighboring countries, as well as the main opinion of the Singaporean president that we have had a look upon during the meeting of both presidents that took place yesterday. And for such an important topic, I'm honored to be having with me in the studio for tonight on the Daily Debate is Dr. Mongy Ali Badr, the Minister Plenipotentiary and the board member of the United Nations Association of Egypt. Thank you very much for being with us.
Good evening for you and your viewers. It's my pleasure and honor to be with you tonight.
The pleasure and honor are all mine. We will be starting straight away with the main top stories that took place for today, and we'll be having comments from Dr. Mongy Ali Badr as Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli headed for New York to chair on behalf of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi the Egyptian delegation participating in the two-state solution conference. The agenda of the Prime Minister during the visit includes the participation in the activities of the opening session of the UN General Assembly meetings, and also delivering the Egyptian speech at the high-level meeting to celebrate the 30th anniversary of the World Conference on Women. On the sidelines of his participation, Madbouli is scheduled to attend a number of other meetings and events and hold a number of bilateral meetings with the leaders of the sisterly and the friendly countries and representatives of the regional and the international organizations. And Dr. Mongy, of course, this is a very important step for Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli to be heading for New York, to be representing the Egyptian delegation on behalf of His Excellency President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi at such an important event.
Yes.
At the United Nations General Assembly, the two-state solution conference, to be recognizing the state of Palestine. How did you see such a step by Egypt?
Indeed, it's a very important visit for His Excellency Prime Minister to New York, participating in 80 round of General Assembly of United Nations, and in the meantime he is going to hold many bilateral meetings with representatives of countries who participating in this round. Number two, I can consider Mr. Prime Minister at this last few months that he is a flying Prime Minister. In fact, he is participating in many meetings outside Egypt in East and North and West.
Yes.
This it will add great reflection on the foreign policy of Egypt, that we give more attention to global meeting and regional meeting. Number two, it's Egypt, the country of history and the civilization. It's normal for Egypt to participate in all meetings which related to our interests. Number three, in fact, Prime Minister, he is very wise man, and he is dealing with foreign delegation with very smart way, and this we gain a lot of benefits from this soft diplomacy. I'm going to add that already Egypt, we moved from economy which has many problems to economy emerging economy. So now we would like to balance between our economic power and also our political power to participate in all meeting. The last point, in fact, he is going to represent His Excellency Mr. President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, and it's very important to Prime Minister to represent the President,
yes,
not Minister, not Under Secretary. No, this I prefer this way. Anybody to replace Mr. President, he should be Prime Minister.
Yes, this is the highest level to be representing Egypt.
In ranking.
On the other hand, the other top story for today, it comes from the response of the Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas, who said on Sunday that Britain's recognition of the Palestinian state was a necessary step toward lasting peace in the region. Abbas's office said in a statement that His Excellency praised the United Kingdom's recognition of the independent state of Palestine, affirming that it constitutes an important and necessary step toward achieving a just, lasting peace in accordance with the international legitimacy. Meanwhile, the Palestinian Foreign Minister Varsin Aqibakian Shaheen said that the countries recognizing Palestine state this week were taking an irreversible step that preserved the two-state solution and brought the Palestinian independence and sovereignty closer. Britain, Canada, Australia and Portugal formally recognized the Palestinian state on Sunday, joining other nations in a move aimed at reviving the momentum for a two-state solution, but which has been criticized by Israel and the United States. So Britain, Canada, Australia and Portugal have recognized Palestine as a state. How did you see the response of the Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas, not just for those states, but for the efforts of Egypt as well to be reaching this step?
In fact, it's a trend. Today morning, 3 countries. Tonight, it's 4 countries recognized state of Palestine. So it's a trend. It's an international trend for recognition of state of Palestine. Number 2, it's a very tough message to Mr. Trump. A few days back he was in London, and the Prime Minister he mentioned during a press conference that UK is going to recognize Palestinian. Today Portugal. In fact, Portugal, it's a very important country in Europe, and now 4 countries. In fact, myself, I appreciate very much this step from these Western countries. You can see all of them from West. Australia, it's from West. Even it's located south of Asia.
Yes.
But the culture, its order, its habits, everything is to Western habit. So I'm going to consider the 4 Western countries recognized of the state of Palestine, and in the meantime, the next step, how Mr. Abbas and our brother in Palestine, how to transfer these steps of recognition into reality. This number 1. Number 2, how we can use this trend of recognition of Palestine to force Israel, and behind Israel, United States of America, that there is state of Palestine. It should be set out on the border of 4th of June 1967. Number 3, another message that nothing done by war, nothing done by violence, but through negotiation, through peace, all of us will be happy, and we are going to live in peace in this world area, Middle East. So we can conclude that it was the vision of Egypt since a long time.
Yes.
When we started in 1977, after that 1979, and after that when Mr. President Sisi, he was very patient president on the aggression of Israel, and he used to mention, let us sit together, let us negotiate, let us set up peace in this area. Again, after all this damage, after the killed people from the both sides, we will go back again to negotiation. Is it a smart visit from Egypt? It could be. Is it the wise of foreign policy of Egypt? It could be. Is it the what we call the heritage of civilization that we are dealing with national, regional, international event with wise way? In fact, I appreciate very much the Egyptian foreign policy.
Yes, and speaking of foreign policy, the main topic for tonight on the daily debate, as I mentioned, Doctor, will be the Egyptian-Singaporean relations, and we'll be having the upcoming report about it, about the visit of Singapore's President Tharman Shanmugaratnam, and of course the meeting of the Singaporean President with His Excellency President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, and the Palestinian cause was tackled during the meeting of both presidents. We'll be having more details in the upcoming report about the political and the economic relations that will be taking place and will be strengthened over the next years between both countries. So stay tuned.
President Fattah al-Sisi received the President of the Republic of Singapore on Saturday at the Ittihadiyya Palace as part of his official visit to Egypt from 19th to 22nd of September, aimed at deepening bilateral ties. President al-Sisi affirmed that Egyptian-Singaporean relations are strong, distinguished and grounded in mutual respect and understanding, noting Egypt's aspiration to expand cooperation with Singapore across multiple fields. The two leaders' discussions addressed political developments, with President al-Sisi highlighting Egypt's efforts to stop the war in Gaza and to facilitate the entry of humanitarian aid into the Strip. He further reiterated Egypt's firm position against displacement of Palestinian people from their land. On the economic front, President al-Sisi stressed Egypt's readiness to provide full support to encourage Singaporean investments and expand trade exchange between the two countries. Speaking at a joint press conference with the Singaporean President, President al-Sisi described the visit as a new step forward in diplomatic relations, which will soon mark their 60th anniversary. He recalled with pride that Egypt was among the first Arab countries to recognize Singapore's independence in 1965. President al-Sisi said that he discussed with the President critical turning points and exceptional circumstances the Middle East is going through, particularly with regard to the Palestinian question. The President added that talks also tackled Egyptian efforts aimed at stopping the war in Gaza and facilitating the entry of humanitarian aid in light of the worsening crisis the Palestinian people are suffering from as a result of brutal Israeli practices, especially in light of the expansion of military operations in Gaza Strip. The President stressed that achieving just and comprehensive peace and stability in the region will not be possible without granting the Palestinians their legitimate rights and establishing their independent state along the 4th of June 1967 borders. President al-Sisi also expressed his appreciation for the humanitarian aid provided by Singapore to the people of Gaza via Egypt, noting the challenges hindering the adequate delivery of this aid. For his part, the Singaporean President commended the vital role Egypt, under the leadership of President Fattah al-Sisi, has played in supporting regional stability and security. President al-Sisi said Egypt is proud to be one of the first countries in the Arab region to recognize Singapore's independence in 1966. The Egyptian President also expressed his keenness to establish a joint economic partnership with Singapore in Africa and the Middle East, and his full support for increasing Singaporean investments in Cairo. Meanwhile, President al-Sisi and his Singaporean counterpart witnessed the signing of 7 memoranda of understanding aimed at strengthening and broadening the relationship between the two countries. The agreements cover a wide range of areas, including agriculture, health, maritime transport, social protection, support for small and medium-sized enterprises, and the training of government personnel. The collaborations reflect the two countries' joint commitment to a deeper and more multifaceted partnership. Speaking to the media after a meeting with President Sisi, the Singaporean president said he believed in Egypt's economic potential and that the two leaders had discussed how to take their economic cooperation further. He noted that Singapore has been among the largest Asian investors in Egypt over the last decade. Talks had covered ways to maximize investment and trade cooperation, noting that Egypt is open to providing all support for Singaporean investments. President Sisi renewed his invitation for Singaporean companies to invest in the Egyptian market, which he said has seen a major boom in many fields. He added that an Egyptian-Singaporean business forum will be held in conjunction with the visit. Singapore's direct investment in Egypt is currently valued at about $530 million, while Egypt is Singapore's 8th largest trading partner in Africa, with bilateral trade in services valued at over $1.3 billion as of 2023.
Welcome back. You're still watching the Daily Debate, and as I mentioned in the beginning, I'm honored to be having with me over the program for tonight Dr. Mongy Ali Badr. Dr. Mongy, of course, we did see the visit of the President of Singapore and the meeting that took place between His Excellency President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi and the Singaporean counterpart Tharman Shanmugaratnam. How do you see the importance of this visit, especially that it would be extended to 4 days?
In fact, it's important to visit to Egypt, and we can have more lessons from the experience of Singapore in economic development. Small island. 1967, it was very poor. And the responsible man about the Singapore, he was crying at that time because he doesn't have any money to spend for the people living in or on Singapore Island. Tell the Prime Minister of Malaysia, he mentioned, bye-bye, we don't need you anymore and we don't have enough money to give you. So they started from scratch, 1967, and they opened the door for foreign investment. And the Prime Minister of Singapore, he gave a message to the people. I have nothing to give to you. Try to depend on yourself, and we should develop Singapore. I'm going to shed more light about the composition of the society in Singapore. They are coming from Malay, India, China. You see? But all of them united together to achieve one goal, economic development, and to challenge the very tough condition around them. They have nothing. No natural resources at all. So, first point is charged to give more attention for education. Number two, they sent somebody outside to increase their experience about the managing of seaport, and in the meantime to give more attention for IT at that time. They succeeded because of what? All of them, they are concentrated on one goal, only to achieve economic development. Now, the GDP for Singapore is $565 billion. Can you imagine?
A huge number, yes.
It's more than GDP of Egypt.
Despite the size of both countries.
Around $150 billion, the difference. Number two, huge export or re-export 350 billion. Our aim to reach $100 billion.
Yes.
So another big difference. Very clever in managing maritime and port. They have very clear laws and regulation for foreign investment. They applying automation system for everything, starting from traffic, ending with establishing companies. So I appreciate very much this visit because we can exchange a lot of experience between Egypt and Singapore. Also, I would like to shed more light that in these days we try to give hand to the West and the other hand to the East.
The balance.
To balance. So few days back we were welcoming King of Spain, and we set a lot of MOUs and agreement, and this partnership for development starting from 2025 till 2030. And also we design a lot of tools how to implement what we already agreed during the negotiation. And the visit of the King of Spain, it was great tools for marketing tourism in Egypt.
Yes.
And Spain, they are pioneer in tourism sector. So I admire this is a balance with President Ibalas is managing our foreign policy and also our foreign economy between East and West. Let me add more points about the meeting and the agreement, if you allow me.
You've mentioned the MOUs, the Memorandum of Understanding between Egypt and Spain, but what about the Memorandum of Understanding signed between Egypt and Singapore?
7 MOUs were signed between Egypt and Singapore. The first one, it's covering technology, because they are pioneering technology. The second one, digital transformation. Next one, port management. Education, for technical education and research centers. Investment promotion. So both leaders, His Excellency Mr. President and the President of Singapore, stressed the importance of cooperation in sustainable development. What it means that what we agreed together, we are going to copy what done with Spain. It will be tools to implement what we agreed, and also the system of follow-up. This follow-up could be every month, every 3 months, every 6 months. And this very important because in the past, we sign a lot of MOUs and agreement, but no follow-up. So it's dead. But these days, in fact, this system, it's a very effective system to maximize this agreement. As you see, that we choose the field which Singapore, it has advantage. And in the meantime, we are ready to expand our benefit from this MOUs, because already you have Suez Canal Economic Zone. And this zone is open for all countries, for all nationalities, and for many sectors. Other point that Mr. Prime Minister Dr. Madbouli, since 3 weeks back, he already declared that we already start to establish 3 economic zones again. One in Suez Canal Economic Zone, the second one in 10th of Ramadan, the third one in October City. What it means, this declaration, it means that what we already have reached to saturation, and now we should set up new area for industrial activities. Another message or another conclusion we can have from this is that now Egypt, it has a lot of advantage to attract foreign policy. So we should be clever enough to make filtration to foreign investment. We should receive or we should accept foreign policy if this foreign policy is going to maximize the advantage of Egyptian economy, because there is foreign policy, he can add to you technology or skills of management, or foreign investments can maximize to use the natural resources which we have.
Yes.
So this filtration, it's very important to use what kind of foreign policy which maximize your ability or your capability in economic and even for population.
Following the meeting of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi and his counterpart from Singapore, there was a press conference that took place between both presidents. It was more about the diplomatic relations, about celebrating 60 years of diplomatic relations, the economic cooperation for the future, and even the Palestinian cause. How did you see this press conference?
Okay, there are many points. Start one by one. Egypt, it was the first country in Middle East and Arab country which recognized the independence of Singapore.
Yes.
Number two, it's the first visit for the president of Singapore to the Middle East and Arab area and Africa. This number two. Number three, we are going to develop our relation with Singapore in two levels. The first level, it will be bilateral. The second level, it's through the membership of Singapore in Asian organization. This Asian, it's for Southeast of Asian countries.
Yes.
And now I think they start with 5, and after that 7, and after that I presume it's around 12 countries. And between the Asian member, there is a free trade agreement or free trade area. So the movement of goods between Asian organization, it's exempted completely from custom duties and even technical barriers.
Yes.
Number 3, both leaders, Mr. President and Abdel Fattah al-Sisi and the President of Singapore, they already negotiate more field of cooperation. This field, it's green energy, especially hydrogen and ammonia. And after that, they discuss how to exchange experience in wind energy and the change in digital innovation. Singapore, they are pioneer in this sector. Apart from the negotiation between the two presidents, of course, it's the central topic of State of Palestine. Fortunately, Singapore support the Egyptian situation related, number one, to Palestinians to have their own state, free state, with the ability to live or with the ability to continue as an independent state. Number two, they agreed about emergent ceasefire. Number three, they are pushing all effort to increase the amount of humanitarian aid to our brother in Gaza Strip. And they appreciate the situation of many countries whom start to make recognition for the state of Palestine. As you see, that Egypt, we raise the topic of Palestinian in all our meeting with foreign delegation. What this it means? It means that we have very state policy to encourage and to support our brother in Palestine, and in the meantime with very smart way, with very effective way. We don't need to raise our voice and we don't need to make propaganda. No, we are very effective in reality. We try to push most of other countries to support state Palestine.
Of course, we could be having more trade relations between Egypt and Singapore, and it could be translated into having more investments from the Singaporean side into the Egyptian market. As you mentioned, Doctor, that we have even more cities that will be built in the 10th of Ramadan city, for example, in the 6th of October city, at the Suez Canal economic access. So how do you see the investments and the trade relations that could be continuing and it could be strengthened in the future between Egypt and Singapore?
Very valid point and very sensitive in the meantime.
Thank you.
For trade relation, the volume of trade in 2024, it was around the volume of trade, import and export. It was 316. Okay? Egyptian import from Singapore, it was $305 million.
Yes.
And we export to Singapore 12, only 12. So there is...
we need to balance it.
No, it's a huge deficit in that trade balance. But on the other side, Singapore invests in Egypt more than $1 billion. $1 billion. This investment, in fact, it's green hydrogen, digital economy, and also in infrastructure. Our investment in Singapore, Egyptian investment in Singapore, it's around $21 million. So there is deficit in balance of trade, but there is a huge surplus, and if we can call an investment.
Yes.
So this, it could be at the end of the day, there is some kind of balance, or maybe the balance in favor of Egypt. So we concentrate to attract investment from Singapore in the field, even in renewable energy, as I mentioned at the beginning of this meeting, and also logistic and the smart cities. Most of the smart cities, we use the Singaporean experience to set up this smart village. So, again, we would like to refresh the memory of our viewers that don't think if we call about what we invest more than 11 billion Egyptian pound. Don't think that it's for road infrastructure, only road and the bridge. No. It's a very silly word when we mention this. What we invest for a smart village, for industrial zone, for setting up huge tunnel, and also for reclamation, for improving the system of irrigation. And there are many aspects which could become under the umbrella of what we spend for infrastructure. So smart cities, we use the experience of Singapore and also China. China also, they are playing very active role in this area. Number two, there is very unique relation between China and Singapore. Because home dominating the power in Singapore, the roots coming from China. Because before 1978, China, it was very poor. The annual income per capita, it was only $200 per year. So they started to immigrate to Malaysia, Indonesia, Singapore, and even Thailand. If you go to Singapore, you are going to find 3 chambers of commerce. One for Malay, one for Chinese, and another one for Indian people. If you can check the name of the president, it's an Indian name. And even the fish, it's Indian. But you know the challenge, what we can learn from this, from South East, even their roots completely different. But when they come together to live in one place, they have one goal. They forget their roots,
Yes.
and their culture, and they create new culture. The culture of a challenge, how to develop their economy, how to improve their standard of life, how to adjust your feeling and your habits to be live with other, with different people, completely different from your roots. And it's a tolerance. So if you go to Southeast and you find two people, they are fighting each other, you are going to discover third one. He will come to both of them and to mention, hi brother, where is the tolerance between both of you?
Yes.
So you see that the culture of these people help them to achieve huge step in economic development. And if you check our religion, even in Christianity or Islam, you are going to this tolerance. It's the main culture of our religion.
Exactly.
But the difference that we didn't apply. If you go to the mosque or a church, there is something different from if you go to the street. So our challenge in Egypt, how to change our culture to be matching with achieving economic development, how to adjust our life with IT and AI, how we can deal with our children to learn them the power of a challenge.
Yes.
And the power of competition, how to compete as a youth from China, from India, or from Europe. So it's a matter of cultures. We call our people in all Egyptian universities to find a model of culture matching with our goals, our dreams, our future.
Yes, and speaking of the future, you've mentioned, Doctor, the importance of this balance in foreign policy, as we did see under the tenure of His Excellency President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi and Foreign Minister Dr. Badr Abdel-Ati. There's the Asian dimension nowadays. You mentioned that there are good relations between Egypt and China, Egypt and India, Egypt and Singapore nowadays. This Asian dimension is one part of the balance that Egypt is maintaining between the rest of the countries of the world. How do you see the importance of Egypt focusing right now on this relationship between Egypt and Asia in general, and Egypt and Singapore in specific?
Yeah. Sorry. A very sensitive point, as usual.
Yes.
Of course, we start to develop our relation with Asian countries, especially China, India, Singapore, South Korea, and Japan. But in the meantime, and Pakistan, by the way.
Yes.
Iran, by the way. But in the meantime, this is the balance of foreign policy. We're still keeping excellent relation with West, Europe and the United States of America. This is the excellent or very sensitive balance, how to balance between East and West. So we exert a lot of effort to build a strategic relation with West. And in the meantime, we are looking for the future. The future will move from West to East. So we start to be a member in BRICS. And in the meantime, we concluded a strategic relation with China and also Japan. Singapore, I don't think that they mention this strategic relation. Maybe because of the volume of Singapore, it's a very limited island. So in this area, we try to use the dynamic country at any economic bloc. Singapore is playing a very vital role in Asian group. So that's why we try to use Singapore as a main gate to Asian bloc.
Yes.
Vice versa, they would like to use Egypt as a gate to Africa and Europe and Arab countries. So, you know, it's a win-win situation. Number two, Singapore still insists that Egypt is the best gateway to Africa.
Yes.
And we agree about them. So the opportunities, it's open opportunities for Asia-Africa corridor. Shall Egypt will be the main corridor for Asia to come in African countries? It could be. Of course, we would like to build a very strong trade and investment bridge between the two regions, not only Egypt, Singapore, but the two regions. I think the coming step, it will be establishing something very huge between Egypt and the Asian countries, and also in the meantime to concentrate our interest how to maximize our foreign relation in favor of Egyptian people, how to maximize our foreign policy for economic development, how to maximize our foreign policy to attract investment in technology and AI or artificial intelligence. This is the model, this is the fashion of the relations these days.
Yes, Dr. Mongy Ali Badr, the Minister Plenipotentiary and the Board Member of the United Nations Association of Egypt. Thank you very much for being with us tonight on the Daily Debate.
Thanks for you.
Anytime.
Thank you.
And this brings us to the end of the Daily Debate for tonight. However, I will be leaving you with the latest activities of His Excellency President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi that took place over the past week, all wrapped up in the upcoming report. Thank you for watching and goodbye. See you later.